welcome to this very gentle yoga practice that is designed to support your flow days. So, if you're experiencing cramps or low back pain, perhaps low energy, this practice is designed to be very soothing. We'll move very slowly. It's nice and simple, beginner friendly, something just to serve as movement medicine. So, I want you to begin in a seated position. If you need to, you can prop your sitting bones up on a blanket or a cushion, and you can take your right ankle slightly in front of the left to the extent that that's comfortable. I want you to let your knees relax. Start to lift up through the spine, stack your shoulders over your hips, and then lift through the crown of the head. Let your eyes close for a few moments and just breathe normally here to start while bringing a little bit more attention and awareness to the breath. Scan the inner landscape from head to toe, acknowledging any places where you're experiencing sensation or discomfort. And before we begin, I want to encourage you to let go of any expectation. Give yourself permission to be okay with whatever this practice looks like. Even if it means you just sit here, or maybe you just breathe in a supine lying down pose, or maybe you're in Savasana or child's pose. I want you to really allow your body to inform the way you move today. Let's start to deepen the breath in through the nose. Let out a gentle sigh. We'll do that twice more. Big inhale. And sigh. Last one, keep your shoulders relaxed as you inhale. Now you can keep the mouth closed on the exhale. Keep that oceanic sound of the breath. If your eyes are closed, gently blink them open. From here, we're simply going to walk the hands forward and fold over the legs. So just walk your hands out to the extent that it's comfortable. If you can soften the belly all the way to the floor. It might be nice to prop the hands or the head up on a blanket, a cushion, or a block. I want you to heavy your sitting bones into the floor. Send the hip creases down and back. Here again, we're trying to find that sensation of ease, of sukha. This posture is called Sukhasana, or easy pose. So notice any places where you might be gripping or holding tension, even subconsciously in the neck, the shoulders, the knees, the hips. Make that conscious effort to soften. Deepen the breath once more. And then nice and easy, start to walk the hands up. We'll keep your left leg as it is. Take your right leg out, nice and long. You can square the left hip so that both hips are facing the same direction. Keep your right toes nice and lifted. And then as we inhale, you can reach the arms up or keep them down by your sides. And on the exhale, we'll fold over that right leg. Again, here, any props that you might have, a block or a pillow, can be helpful. But you can also just use that stable support of the hands. So even if your hands are supporting your body here, there's still this softness in the shoulders and the spine. Draw your right hip crease back while anchoring the right heel. Feel that length on the back of the leg. Press the back of the knee into the mat. Take a big inhale, lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, fold a little deeper. Keep your left hip crease and sitting bone anchored. And you might start to walk your hands slightly over to the right. Just feel that gentle traction in the lower back, particularly the left side. This can be a great way to create space there, especially if you're experiencing any lower back pain. And then nice and easy, we'll walk the hands up. You can turn your left knee out to the side a little bit more so that we have more of this open position in the hips. Take your right hand down inside your right leg, stretch your left arm up and over, and then cradle your head in your left hand so that you're not tempted to hold any tension in the neck and shoulders. I want you to lift up and out of the right hip crease so that both side waists are long. Keep the left elbow dialing open, work to stack the shoulders. And then again, breathe into the rib cage, so really inflate the lungs. So you feel that positive pressure happening on the rib cage, stretching the intercostal muscles, that space between the ribs. I encourage you, as often as it feels good, to close the eyes and really take your awareness inward. And slowly come up through center. We'll take the right knee, bend it behind you, so you now have a zigzag shape in the legs. I want you to keep your inner right foot, so the big toe side pressing down, inner right knee pressing down. Then we'll turn to the left, take your left forearm to the earth, and then start to sweep now your right arm up and back. I want to create this big, beautiful arc away from that inner right knee. And again, you can cradle your head in your right hand, lifting the elbow armpit up and away until you feel that nice sensation in the hip flexor. So we're creating that anchor with the right inner knee and then using that to stretch away and create more length and space. You can even turn the heart slightly upward here. Again, the tendency, if you're experiencing any cramps, might be to round in to protect yourself. And while that is intuitively supportive and soothing, it can also create this length in the front body to alleviate some of that discomfort. I'm joining you on day 1 of my cycle here, so definitely experiencing some significant cramps. Let's slowly come up, keep the legs as they are. Come onto the left hand now. Spread the fingertips wide, press through the finger pads, or you can take a peaceful fist with that bottom hand. And if it feels good to you, you can start to lift the hips, reaching that arm skyward, pressing down through both shins, creating a little bit of a back bend here. And then slowly, nice and easy, come down. From here, we'll come back to that easy pose, Sukhasana, but this time bring your left ankle in front of your right. So you've got a little bit of space here between the legs. And again, we'll walk the hands forward, folding the body over that shape, relaxing into this easy pose. And please don't worry if it does not feel easy. I'm definitely having some significant sensation in the hips here. So if you need to be up on the forearms or even up on the hands, that's okay. Just want you to work to anchor the sitting bones down while lifting up through the spine. So avoiding that collapse or rounding in, really sending the pubic bone back so you're tilting the pelvis forward. We'll be here for a few rounds of breath. Try to deepen in and out through the nose. Notice where you feel this posture. Do you feel it in your left hip or your right hip? Do you feel it in your knees or ankles? Maybe you feel it in the spine. And here, can you let go of any holding, be it conscious or subconscious, that you have in the lower belly? That tendency to maybe hold in, can you really allow the belly to soften? Just find that complete relaxation, that release that can happen when you allow the body to feel safe, to feel supported. And then notice how that translates to the pelvic floor. Can you feel that opening at the base of the spine, the base of the pelvis? And we can support flow by both really effective and productive contraction of the uterus, but then also this extreme relaxation and softening in the pelvic floor. So those two work as a team. And slowly start to come up. This time, keep your right knee as it is. Extend your left leg long. I want you to square the hips now so that both hip points are facing toward that left foot. Lift up nice and tall through the spine. Reach the arms up if you wish, and then slowly walk the hands toward that left foot. Keep drawing the toes back toward the left shin. Anchor the left heel and then energetically draw the left hip crease back. Press the back of your left knee into the floor. And then heavy your right hip crease, right sitting bone to externally rotate that right hip. With an inhale, lengthen your spine, create lots of space. And then as you exhale, very gently fold a little deeper. Again, releasing any holding that you might have in the neck and shoulders. Finding that quality of sukha, of ease, of softness. You can press your right foot very gently into the inner left thigh here. And that might feel like a nice stretch in the lower back on the right side. And if you want to take that a little deeper, you can walk your hands to the left side of your extended leg. Again, heavy the right sitting bone and soften into that stretch. Again, here, notice any gripping that happens right away and try to release. So really soften the pelvic floor, soften the lower back, let your belly really relax. And slowly start to walk the hands up. We'll slide the left knee out just a little bit so you have more of this straddle shape in the hips. Then we'll reach the arms up. Take your left hand to the inside of left leg. Stretch your right arm up and over to the left. I'll be opposite you in movement now that we're facing each other. You can bring your top hand behind your head, spin that elbow open, and then lift up and out of the hips to keep both side waist long. So it's almost like you're telescoping the rib cage out of the hips and then giving that gentle lean to the side. So I don't want this to feel like crunching into the side waist. It's just really kind of inviting length and space. Inflate the lungs a lot. And feel that positive pressure in the side waist, the belly. When you're ready, we'll slowly come up. Bend your left knee behind you. Anchor the big toe side of the foot and the inner left knee. Then we'll walk the hands over your right thigh. Bring your right forearm down and sweep your left arm up and back. So creating again that arc from the inner left knee all the way through the armpit, elbow, crown of the head. Feel this beautiful stretch across the front body. Again, soften the shoulders. See if you can relax the low belly here. Anchor the inner left knee. And then from that space of stability, stretch up and away. Enjoy a few more deep breaths here. Just really clearing these pathways for energy to flow in and around the hips, the low belly, can help clear any stagnation you might be experiencing, because that stuckness is what can create the discomfort, especially around our period. We'll slowly come up with the support of your back hand. Keep your back hand on the floor. Press through the finger pads nice and firmly. And then only if it feels good to you, lift the hips, send your left arm straight up. Pressing through both shins here, really lengthening the hip flexors. You might even tuck your tailbone slightly underneath you to get more sensation in the quads, the hips. And then slowly touch down. From here, we'll come into a tabletop, nice and easy. Let your hips be over your knees, your shoulders over your wrists. And I want you to just let your hips flow in the way that feels most natural. So you might take these nice big circles. You might come through a mini child's pose at the bottom, stretching the wrists at the top. I want you to let your knees be wherever they feel most comfortable. So maybe they're a little bit closer together, maybe wider apart. Let your head hang heavy for a moment. Close your eyes. And just listen for those subtle signals from your body. You might let the hips drop slightly in front. If nothing else on your period, some hip circles can work wonders for any discomfort that might be coming up. We'll be here one more very big breath. And slowly start to come through that neutral spine position. Walk your hands slightly to the left. We'll step the right foot forward, keeping your back knee down. I want you to take your right knee or your right foot nice and wide. And then inch your left knee back such that you can come onto the top of your left thigh. So you're not on the knee there, you're on kind of the meaty part of the thigh. You can create peaceful fists if you feel any strain in the fingers or the hands. We're going to be in this lizard lunge for several breaths. So first, we're letting the spine stay upright. And here, I want you to soften into the pelvis. So often, I talk about creating buoyancy and kind of that lightness in the pelvis. Here, I want you to allow it to collapse, to become heavy. See if you can kind of perform the opposite of a Kegel. So can you allow everything to spread and relax? You might stay in this shape, or one option would be to come onto the pinky toe side of that right foot. Let the knee come open just a touch. As you do, again, let the hips soften toward the earth. Keep a little bit of pressure on that pinky toe side to keep the knee joint stable and strong. If you want a little deeper sensation, you come onto the forearms here. Let your head hang heavy. We'll be here 3 more very deep breaths. And then slowly walk your hands in. Bring that right foot onto the mat. And then take your right knee to join your left. Sway the hips side to side. Find your tabletop. Move through cat and cow here. And as you begin, I want you to hug the heels of the hands and the knees energetically together. Feel what that experience is like. And then same thing, but opposite direction. Press your palms energetically away, the knees energetically away. So we're going to add that to our cat and cow to create more of a stretch in the spine. So as you inhale from the tailbone, shine the sitting bones back, hug heels of the hands and the knees to the midline, lift the gaze, stretch your spine, and then change that energetic press away. So hands and knees press away. We round from the tailbone, coil up the spine, feel that wave, chin to chest. Inhale, shine the sitting bones back, ripple up the spine all the way to the crown, hug the hands and knees toward each other. And then reverse that, exhale, round through the tailbone, ripple up the spine, chin to chest, head hangs heavy, press through the hands. Last one like this, inhale. Really articulate each bone of the spine as its own energetic force. And then exhale, round. Sway the hips just a touch side to side. And then walking the hands out in front of you, soften heart, belly, chest toward the floor for puppy pose. Here, just allow the crown of your head to rest. Resist that temptation to bring the chin to the floor. Just let this be more of a gentle puppy pose. You can even bring your forearms to the mat, palms touch. Let's get a little bit of shoulder stretch here. So the hips stay over the knees. We're lifting the hip creases up and back. And then softening heart, belly, chest toward the floor. This is a great posture to be able to feel the stretch across the pelvic floor. And it's this sort of quality of space that we allow in the sacrum, the low spine. Just take a moment here to really relax there. Relax the low belly. And then as you're ready, we'll slowly come up. Start to tuck the toes under, lift your hips up and back for downward dog. Pedal out the feet, heel to toe. Feel that stretch in the backs of the lower legs. Can you send your hip creases up and back? Soften heart, belly, chest, just like we did in puppy. Press the palms down and forward through all 10 finger pads. And then let your shoulders create space, so your shoulders move toward your hips as the crown of the head is heavy. And then we'll walk the hands slightly over to the right. Bend your knees, lift your heels. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Let your back knee come down. We'll enter lizard pose now on this second side. So either palms or peaceful fists on the floor. We stretch up through the chest. I want you to keep that left foot nice and wide and then roll slightly forward so that you're on the meaty part of your right thigh. So you should feel some sensation in the hip flexors here. And depending on the length of your arms, you might want a block or something underneath the hands to give you a little more elevation. And then again, create that quality of release in the pelvis. So we are allowing it to kind of collapse and surrender to gravity here. Notice any areas where you're holding tension. Can you let that go? And use your breath here as the waves of sensation come up, especially in the left hip, right hip flexor. Use the exhale to send that signal of safety. So that tendency to grip, to tighten, to send extreme sensation is our body's way of saying this is uncomfortable. It's that our body's way of protecting us. And so when we can use the breath to maintain the residue of calm, where we can maintain that stability in the central nervous system, it sends that signal to our muscles that it's okay to relax, it's okay to soften. Let go of the low belly. Then you have a couple of options here. You can turn onto the pinky toe side of that left foot. And once again, just allow the hips to drop. And then maybe you come down to the forearms, getting a little deeper, more sensation. This is the most strenuous pose of our practice today. So hopefully it still feels very easy, very gentle. But know that this might be the hardest one. Just a few more breaths here. When you're ready, we'll slowly press up onto the hands, tuck the back toes, come out of that deep lunge just a little bit, let your hip flexors return to their resting length. And then we're going to step the right foot to the outside of right hand, come into your deep malasana squat. So here, don't sweat it if your heels pop up. You can always place a blanket under the heels. Want your hands to come to heart center, press your elbows out to the inner knees. Again, if this is too much, you can always come down to your seat right away. That's the direction that we're heading next. So know that you can take this malasana squat with the sitting bones all the way on the ground. Again, here, can you create that quality of softening across the pelvic floor? And then with the support of your hands, we'll come down into a seat. You let your legs walk out just a little bit further so that you have less flexion in the knees, so less of a bend in the knees. Take the feet a bit wider. Bring your hands to your shins. Arms are on the inside of the legs. I want you to pull up slightly on the shins and take the pubic bone toward the floor. Keep pulling up on the shins, but anchor the feet. Lift up through the heart, soften the shoulders. Let your knees splay open just a little bit more. Feel that stretch in the inner thighs. This is a very supportive posture for your flow days. Just a way to invite space and circulation in the hips, the pelvis, the low belly. And then slowly release the grip on your shins. Bring the soles of the feet to touch, but have more of a diamond shape. So be generous with that space in the knees. Then take your hands under the legs, bring them to the tops of the feet. And I want you just to round in any amount. This sensation might be pretty intense in the outer legs. So just be gentle. It doesn't have to be anything too extreme here. Again, that gentle reminder to release the belly. I feel myself in this perpetual holding pattern in the low belly, which, yes, has its place in a strength practice, in breath work. We tend to create that tone instinctually. But here I want us to reverse that, create more softening. Let the head hang heavy for a moment. Then you might press your hands into your feet, gently draw back on the feet, and again send your pubic bone toward the floor. You should feel some traction in the backs of the thighs. Then we'll slowly, steadily come up. We're going to lower onto the back for a few final closing postures here. Hug your right knee into your chest, extend your left leg long. I want you to create some separation between the thigh bones here. You can take your right knee slightly out to the side if you wish. Maybe even send the sole of the foot up so you're in more of a happy baby pose. And I want you to press your left heel onto the mat so that that leg stays stable and strong. Bend your right knee in toward you, almost like you're going to cradle the knee, but I want us to keep the hips on the floor. I want you to keep that left leg outstretched. So you may not be able to get into that full figure four position, but that's the direction that we're headed. I want you to kind of cradle that leg, rock it side to side. And just feel the sensation where you need it most. Keep that right foot very deeply flexed so that we're stabilizing the knee joint here as we move it into a more challenging position. So this figure 4 shape with the leg outstretched might inhibit our range of motion just a little bit. But as you take that cradle, kind of crossing the knee across your body, you should feel that deep stretch in the outer glute. We'll come back to center, hug the knee to the chest once again. Then very gently send that right knee over to the left. Let your hips go along for the ride so they can turn as well. No need to fix that position. You can send your gaze over to the right. Let your right knee be heavy. You can even take your left hand to the back of that right thigh. Just encourage it deeper into the twist. Breathe into that positive pressure, inflate the lungs so much that the low belly expands. And just receive that gentle sensation in the lower back. Nice and easy, we'll come out through center, exchange the legs. So hug the left knee into your chest now. You might take it slightly to the outer ribs here in more of a happy baby posture. Really want you to anchor the right heel, back of the right leg, that whole right leg strong. So it's active and engaged, creating that stability here. And you can lift the foot towards the sky, more like happy baby pose again. And then while keeping your right leg straight and strong, reach for the outer edge of your left foot. Flex the left foot, bend that knee any amount. So you can kind of work from the hip first to get that external rotation. We don't want to make that movement happen from the knee. We want it to happen at the hips first. And then we bend the knee and rotate open. Again, take that gentle rock side to side. So you're cradling the foot, breathing here through the sensation. Notice how it feels when you cross that knee to the right side. So take that leg across the body, any amount, but keep your right leg straight and strong. So it's sort of creating the effects of a pigeon pose, but without having to hold ourselves up, without having to hold the legs in position. You can sort of be in receiving mode. Be here one more very big breath. And then slowly come back through center, hug that left knee in. And we'll send the left knee over to the right, gaze to the left. Use your right hand to encourage that left knee down towards the mat. And again, let your hips rotate with that leg here. We're not trying to create that perfect twist. We're letting the edges kind of soften a little bit. Soften low belly, low back. Take those deep, full body breaths. So the more you can allow your belly to soften on that inhale, the more space that your lungs can occupy. They're not inhibited by that tightness in the low belly. And then on the exhale, we can create that little bit of tone to press all of the air out. Slowly come through center once again. Hug your knees into your chest, curl up into a little ball. Keep the knees hugging into the chest. Let the shoulders relax back down to the mat. Just a few circles of the arms. Take the arms all the way overhead. And then soften the arms down by your sides. Let the feet touch down. As we move into our final relaxation, we'll be here a minute or two more. I want you to take the first few moments just to find your most comfortable position. So you might knock the knees in, take the feet out. You might let the feet come together, the knees splay open. You might extend the legs out long, roll to your side. Any position that allows you to truly rest. Lick your lips and move your jaw to soften all the muscles of the face, around your eyes, your eyebrows, back of the neck and shoulders. Release any control you have over the breath. Allow your awareness to move deeply inside. Only when you're ready, bring movement back to your fingers and toes. Circle the ankles and the wrists. Deepen the breath. Little by little, bring your body, your mind back online. If you're on your back, stretch your body long from fingertips to toe tips. Nice and easy, roll to one side. Taking your time in each new position to land. So avoiding the rush from one place to the next. This time when our bodies are asking us to slow down. Only when it feels good, start to press your body up into that comfortable seat. We'll end our practice right where we began in this Sukhasana or easy pose. So give yourself that moment to check in once again, maybe close the eyes. And again, just move your awareness from the crown of the head all the way through the body. Notice any change. Notice that quality of softness and ease. If your eyes are closed, gently blink them open. I want to thank you so much for joining me for today's practice, this time in the cycle where we can create that coziness, that quality of maybe a warm blanket or a day on the couch. We can create that feeling in our practice with gentle movement that will serve to create more circulation, more pathways for energetic flow, and can help alleviate some of those symptoms from the inside out. So I hope that this practice has provided that little bit of soothing for you today. Thank you for being here and for letting your body be moved.